Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys, or should I say, caw-caw?
There you go. Caw-caw.
Nailed it.
How are you? Are you going to spend some time with the Masters this weekend?
Yeah, maybe a little. I'm not that glued to the television. I mean, it's a big event for golf. I play badly, but I'll watch it a little bit. I'm not gonna be glued to the television all weekend thinking it's the.
Wiggy will not. Well, he acts like he won't watch a minute of it.
I won't. I will not turn on. Is it on regular television or is it like on the Golf Channel?
It's on ESPN.
Yeah.
I think it's ESPN today, and then we
CBS.
go CBS on Saturday or tomorrow. CBS.
I think you can catch a lot of it on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
and
I will
stuff.
not watch 1 second of it. Got to finish Pinky Blinders.
Cap.
Ain't no cap. Believe that.
Yeah, it is.
Believe that. I hate golf.
This is the first time you watched Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, I'm first time I watched it. I'm on season 5 right now.
It's dark, isn't it?
I love it. I love all British shows. Pause. I'm a BBC guy.
What are you doing this afternoon?
Probably watch a few little Peaky Blinders. Hit the gym.
Again?
And then I might
What
go.
are you doing this
I
afternoon?
might come to your Masters
Oh,
event.
you're coming to a Masters
Yeah.
party.
Wiggy.
That's fraudulent.
No, but I won't watch it. I'm going there for the prosciutto mozzarella wraps.
No, I think it's fraudulent.
That's the only reason why
You
I'm going.
declared this morning. You jumped on Courtney and said, I'm
Where is the event?
Who watches golf? You're attending a Masters party.
Where's the Masters party at?
At the Capitol Grill.
Okay.
You
You really think I'll be watching anything to do? It's like when we go to Marathon Monday. I don't look up at the television. I'm there for the wraps and the lollipop lamb chops.
All right.
All right, I'm going to go to the forum for the debate on a new police station in Mashpee tonight.
Oh.
37 million. You should see it. There's rats running all over the place in the police station.
Damn.
It's terrible, and then they're not even in the jail cells.
Oh.
I mean, certainly the Cape is overrun by aggressive tourists all summer long. So you probably need a new police station. I mean,
No question about it. It's not safe. It's not fair, and these are our guys that we count on, right? There's another question I have for you, though. When we go to my sister's place, my place by the sea in June, she usually has hump day on Wednesday, which is like bringing a DJ and dancing.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to have that switch to Thursday, or should you just go with a regular, quiet meet and greet?
Oh,
Yes,
no.
let's do
I
it
think
Thursday.
So we're gonna have a DJ and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Curtis doesn't want a DJ.
I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of noise.
Greg, you can get back to your grinding days.
Yeah.
Right.
You and DMs.
Maybe you can even get on the 1s and 2s. Get back to your old school days, playing some of those records.
Oh, I could jump on
Yeah.
with on the wax.
Yeah.
And spin some wax.
That's it. Bring some of your bring your crate with your records.
I know top 5, like off the top of my head, top 5 records that gets everybody out on the dance
All
floor.
right. What are they?
So, well,
Oh,
I
you're
don't
save
wanna
it.
reveal
Okay. I got you.
I'd probably start with "Give It Up" by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Okay.
This poor DJ is going to get judged the entire time. Greg's going to be like, I wouldn't do that here.
Baby, give it up. Then I would probably
What about
go.
Hot Stepper?
I'd probably go from that to. I would probably go to December 1963. Oh, what a night!
Oh, what a night.
By the Four Seasons.
Back in 60.
Then maybe a little Hot Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Wiggy.
Okay.
And then I would probably segue into a
Right
banger.
Said Fred, I'm Too
Nope.
Sexy.
I would go old school banger that is not only a dance, like a little dance number, but also you can sing along. Probably go with "Build Me Up, Buttercup."
Way to push out all
So
of your
we'll just
audience
forget
under
about
the
the
age of
DJ
30.
and just hire Greg.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was a great job by Greg, because when you get really old, you need to have time to think of the names of the songs. So he did these preambles as a means of acting like he was explaining it, but he was really searching for the title.
And then he'll finish off with "Don't Stop Believing."
I'd probably finish up with classic, a long time classic,
All right.
"Thong Song" by Sister.
Okay.
Oh,
That gets the people going.
that really does.
Probably how I would finish.
Gets the people
Probably
going.
how I would finish.
Mike, are you a big dancer?
Well, after a certain number of alcoholic beverages, I will be known to shake a leg.
Wow.
But it's ugly. It's ugly.
So, Wiggy had an interesting lead this week about Alex Ovechkin. You want to get Mike Milbury to weigh in on that?
Oh yeah, so Mike, it was really about Wayne Gretzky more than anything. Where I said I think what Wayne Gretzky did, he was the most, my opinion, most dominant player in all of sports history in
All
any
time,
sport.
In any sport.
Wow.
Statistically, because he was so far ahead. And when I went and looked, I was like, all right, looking at some of these guys, and I'm like, this guy had 4 200-point seasons, and the closest active player is at 150. But during that time, he was so far ahead of everybody else, dominance-wise. And I don't count championships. I'm just strictly talking about his dominance as a how would you say it? Statistical player.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what was amazing about him is he never quit on a shift. Like the score could be 6-2 in favor of his team, and the next shift he'd be looking for more. He never stopped looking for more. That was the remarkable thing. There are a lot of guys that just put it into neutral when the game gets out of control, but he never did that. He just kept on pushing, kept on looking for opportunities to, push the envelope further, and that's why he's the greatest.
Mike, it doesn't seem as impressive now after Wiggy talking about Ovechkin, but Pasta having another 100-plus point season is his third straight. For a guy like that, do you take into account how dominant he is on the ice as the potential for captain next season? Do the guys inside a dressing room respect a guy like that more?
I think you need to have a captain that has a resume, but you also have to have a captain that has some ability to relate. I think the kid has matured. I don't know what other choices there are in the locker room. Maybe Charlie McAvoy, but he hasn't quite found his stride. I think Pastrnak probably will get it, but it's to me it's a great honor, but it's a little bit overrated. Just because you put a C on your sweater doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to captain the ship. And that belongs to the coach. I mean, it's a great honor, and there are certain responsibilities that go with it. You need to straighten people out when they get out of line, or you need to encourage people to do more at certain points. But by and large, I mean, Pasternak's ability to put the puck in the net is far more important than whether he wears a C or not.
His team has gone through several coaches the past few seasons. What kind of a guy would you look for if you were Cam Neely and Don Sweeney to coach this team going forward?
He has to fit the profile of the team that they're going to put together, and that team is not going to be middle-aged. I would assume they're going to be young. They're going to be probably in need of training. They're going to be in need of reining in once in a while. When guys are in their young 20s or early 20s, mid-20s, they're likely to be a little bit more frisky and a little less focused. So I'm looking at a younger guy. I'm looking at somebody that's probably right now is probably grooming people at the college level or maybe at the American League level. I don't have enough of a handle on who the personnel would be, but I'm looking for somebody that's young, that can communicate, that can relate, and that still has enough chutzpah that he can walk into the room and command it.
So not one of the veteran recycled
no, absolutely
torts
no.
type people.
No, I think that would be a great mistake. I think that would be, you're going to need somebody that can crack the whip once in a while, but it's also, the new player here in the new day and age needs to be, feathered a little bit from time to time. But it's going to take a guy that's very current with the younger player and their attitude, and a guy that can be knowledgeable in the course of the game, change it with some strategy. So I think it's a big role, but before that becomes my concern, it's just filling the positions that they need to fill. I mean, I'm glad that Geeky now has 30 goals. That's a great sign. Pasta with another 100-point season is a great sign. Lindholm, I don't think he's certainly not top line center, but at least he's played a little bit better. So it'll give you some hope that maybe he can play on the second line if he's got good wingers around him. But the personnel is the first and foremost goal of changing this team around, and the coach obviously will be important, but he'll go as far as good players will take him.
Mike, when you talk about that personnel, it's interesting because how do you go from a team just a few years ago where you break the NHL record for points in a season, and then the following year you're still a really good team, to now one of the worst teams in the NHL with, I don't want to say the same guys, but good group of players. Is the personnel just that bad on this team where they're going to have to do a complete overhaul to get back to being a playoff contender?
You know, they were in playoff contention not long ago. They weren't in championship contention not that long ago. But just think of the centers of 3 years ago when they set the record. They had Bergeron, they had Krejci, and Charlie Coyle was their third-line center. There wasn't a better lineup in hockey down the middle. I mean, there may have been some better players than Bergeron or Krejci in the middle, but for depth chart purposes, it was as good as it gets. And that evaporated within, the two guys that were up front were gone. And all of a sudden, there was nobody there to replace them. They traded away a lot of their draft picks. They didn't have anything in Providence to look forward to. And now they're stuck with that reality. And so it's going to take some magic. I don't think you're going to get guys out of this draft that are going to be impact players in year one. Maybe down the line, you'll get somebody that can play regularly for them. I see that there are a lot of centers in contention for high draft picks, but they're going to have to suffer for a year or two, in my opinion. And so are we.
Curtis, Courtney, cover your ears. You like BU getting it all done when it comes to Frozen Four beginning this evening?
I do. I think they have as good a chance as anybody, and they've been there before. And the coach seems to have a pretty good handle on how to crack the whip when he needs to and coax them into a good position. I think I'm going to be watching that game. Should be fun.
Jay Pandolfo is a guy that a lot of people bring up whenever we bring up the next coach of the Bruins.
Yeah, and I can see he would merit consideration. And that's the kind of guy I'm talking about. Does he have the, he seemed to be a quiet guy. I mean, I'm not looking for, a huge presence in terms of being a big guy, but he has to have some kind of command of the room. I don't know how he does that, but certainly his results have been impressive, and he'd have to be in consideration to have a look, and they know him.
Mike, if this team is kind of like the roster is depleted of like high-end talent, and it looks like it could be several years to where they're back contending, do you think next year is Cam and Sweeney's like hot seat year?
That's what I was going to ask.
And if so, how are you able to bring them back after next year when there's probably a good chance that you're not a very good hockey team?
They have to show that the team is heading in the right direction. I don't think you can expect a complete turnaround, although, Washington has done it miraculously in a very short period of time, just 2 years. But they have to show that they've filled some of the spots that need to be filled, particularly at center, as I mentioned. They have to show that this team can play with consistency, that Lindholm can play to his ability and not just kind of dance through another season. I know he's had missed most of the season. He's making a lot of money. He's a two defenseman that's got to play 25 minutes a game. And McAvoy has to round himself out. So you've got to see progression. Swayman's played well in the last couple of games. God bless him. Needs to go to summer school for social relations, I think, and learn to keep his mouth shut once in a while. But those guys are, those are key performers, and they have to get back to their level of excellence. And hopefully Pastrnak and Geeky stay at where they're at. And then they have to see that the personnel is starting to change, that there's some hope in the personnel positions. But they at some point, they have to be on the hot seat. Everybody is in this business.
Mike Milbury, thank you. Mark your calendars. Celebrity bartender and guest DJ night on June 26th at My Place by the Sea in Rockport.
Mm-hmm.
And that
All
is
right,
the pregame for the road show. And we will talk to you next week, Mike Milbury.